If we're getting paid good for that one, so why don't we do it 3 times this year? We're gonna get more money anyway. It's a no-lose situation. It's all up. It's all a win. Everything's a win. You're fighting, you're getting in shape, you're getting paid. More money than you ever did before.
For a Floyd Mayweather that is clearly going broke, this is the truth. There is no speculation, but I told you guys, Floyd owes a lot of people a lot of money, and he don't have it. Logan Paul also discussed this, and this is probably the best screenshot I couldn't gotten on this video. My God, his ramen noodle hair is flying in the wind, and there's no wind in that place. But Logan dropped some knowledge that Floyd is still scamming him for their 2021 fight.
Mike Tyson has reportedly revealed that Floyd Mayweather asked for extra money in a recent fight contract, despite ongoing rumors about financial struggles. The claim has reignited questions about Mayweather's spending habits and long-term financial stability.
On Floyd, so they will want to see the fight. They want to see Floyd get beat. But are they going to fight?
I know they're going back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think they would matter. If he wants to make some money, Floyd wants to make some money. If he wants to make some money, he could fight.
Analyst Wade Clemens pointed out that the real issue isn't bankruptcy itself. It's the idea that someone who earns such enormous wealth could face financial trouble at all. For many, that's the most shocking part.
So much money to them and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representative said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million. He made $300 million fighting Conor. He didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this.
Joe Rogan echoed a similar sentiment, noting that Mayweather made unprecedented amounts of money during his career. However, he emphasized that even massive wealth can disappear without careful management.
He's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where it shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3 million.
On the other hand, Whack 100 pushed back against the narrative. He argued that claims about Mayweather being broke are exaggerated, suggesting that his return to the ring could be driven more by boredom than financial necessity.
If Floyd ain't talking about it and Floyd ain't promoting it, then it's just talk.
They're accusing him of going broke because he's looking for these fights.
They've been accusing Floyd of going broke for 20 years. Now, let's talk about going broke. Maybe down to 200 million. Maybe that's his broke. I don't know.
Maybe that's his broke.
What I do know is his homes are still there, because when he tell me to come see him, it's the same addresses. Every time he called me, it's stars on the roof. Right? So I don't know, unless somebody is hacked into this man's finances. They always accuse a man of going broke. So maybe he's bored.
Mainly 50.
Maybe he's bored.
Business analyst Simon Jordan highlighted how boxing is evolving, with platforms like Netflix now offering massive payouts. He believes fights involving Mayweather and Tyson could generate enormous revenue in this new landscape.
Netflix started as a concept that used everyone else's content. and then started to commission their own content. They started to make their own films. You know, The Irishman was a film made for Netflix with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and they started to build out their own content. They're now a business that has huge reach, huge opportunity, and sports is a massive passion center. It's a massive driver. Why would you not have versions of sport? They've dipped their toes in with Drive to Survive and all the other different shows that have ultimately been in the past, whether it was them that did Drive to Survive, I can't remember. But so, you know, and I'm surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Amazon come and play more regularly in this. And what it is, and what it should be, is good for the sports in terms of the economics that bring to the sports. The more eyes that are on the prize, the wider the net, the bigger the interest levels come. You know, I remember talking to Turkey Al Sheikh about Netflix, because obviously
Dan Le Batard broke down the scale of Mayweather's earnings, pointing out that very few athletes in history have made comparable money. He credited Mayweather's mastery of pay-per-view, where he structured deals to maximize his personal profit. Despite that success, Luke Batard found it almost unimaginable that someone could lose such vast wealth, calling it a result of extreme financial mismanagement.
You know, athletic money being blown is a bit of a cliche. There are very few athletes ever who have made the kind of money that Floyd Mayweather has made. And because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is, or has been, a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe.
Reports suggest Mayweather has earned over $1.2 billion in his career. Yet, recent developments, including a $340 million lawsuit involving Showtime networks, indicate ongoing financial battles. Stories of extravagant spending continue to surface, from luxury purchases to casual high-end expenses, painting a picture of a lifestyle that's incredibly diffy.
Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah, I think a question though that you should also ask is, outside of like how much has he made, is how much has he spent? You know, because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he's present.
Clemens further analyzed the situation, noting that while Mayweather owns supercars, jewelry, and private jets, retaining wealth appears to be a challenge. He referenced reports of debts, loans, and foreclosures, suggesting that continuous fighting may be tied to maintaining that lifestyle rather than simply enjoying retirement.
And there are other supercars and jewelry, yeah, I know it can appreciate, but like that, supercars, all this other stuff. Floyd is the greatest businessman of selling himself, but he's not clearly, from all indications, a good businessman in retaining assets that actually keep his money safe. Because if he needs to continue fighting all the time to be able to retain all the money he made, then it's not a good indication that he did well with the money he had at the time he made it. In fact, it's the opposite of that. It's the indication that he spent so much and got so little out of it that it's starting to hurt more and more. I mean, again, here's one of Floyd's old fighters, Ish Smith, talking about Floyd. He was under Mayweather for a long time. Read in between the lines, people don't come out of retirement for the love of the game damn near 59.
Clemens, these aren't just rumors. They're backed by documented reports. despite earning over $1 billion. He claims Mayweather may have lost a significant portion of his wealth due to spending and financial decisions. This raises a bigger question. Is Mayweather still fighting for legacy, or simply to keep the money flowing?
We had the Business Insider article, which, they went deep into detail. They got so into it. I think in even a past article of Floyd's, that Floyd sued him for $100 million. I don't know what the case is there. I don't know what the standing is, but they got deep into the weeds with this, talking about how they said that, things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from an individual, from a billionaire that had a 9% interest.
WAC 100 disagrees strongly. He insists that Mayweather is still financially secure and continues to earn massive paydays from exhibition bouts. In his view, these fights are strategic opportunities, not signs of desperation.
He's still performing like he always has. Maybe he's bored. Maybe somebody came and told him, man, we got $200-300 million, man, to get in the ring with, we got $150 million to get in the ring with Mike Tyson on some exhibition shit. And then 6 months later, we got $300 million for you to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He look it up, he like, that's $450 million. Sometimes you miss the light. But I can guarantee you, he ain't broke. He's making a lot of sound investments. You hear me, Cam Gabon? Yeah. This I know for a fact. He's making a lot of sound investments. And the investments I've seen.
Sean Porter offered a more balanced take. He believes Mayweather's decision to step back into the ring is smart. According to Porter, Mayweather still has the ability to compete and turn high-profile fights into financial and legacy-building opportunities.
What we've seen Mike Tyson do against Jake Paul is you don't want to get in that ring and you haven't driven that car in so long that the engine runs hot, So both these guys, I think they're if more than anything, they're trying to show us how serious they are about doing it again against one another. So,
Sean, how shocked were you when you found out that Floyd was coming back? Last time he fights is in 2017 against Conor McGregor. The guy has not fought, I said more than a decade, almost a decade, I should have said. In almost a decade, even when you're Floyd Mayweather, that's got to be a hard thing to do, and especially when you're 49 years old.
So there's some really good pros about it. He's done some exhibitions. He's shown that he still has the abilities that he's had. They're clearly not what they used to be, but they're still there. And then beyond that, the fact that
However, not everyone sees it that way. Analyst Henry criticized the rumored matchup between Mayweather and Tyson, arguing that it's driven purely by money. He questioned the purpose of these exhibitions, suggesting they prioritize spectacle over real competition.
He since then almost feel kind of demeaning to his legacy, I suppose you could say. Well, I can tell you that I did a little digging, and actually there are a number of lawsuits that are currently active against Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s name, and they're worth
For traditional boxing fans, this trend is frustrating. Bringing legends like Mayweather and Tyson back for exhibition fights shifts the focus from skill and competition to entertainment and profit. While both remain iconic figures, critics argue that relying on their names risks blurring the line between sport and spectacle.